Hey everybody, James with Love My Pups, my British Supply. Thanks for coming back. We're getting to the nitty gritty here about C-sections. I originally was going to have a 5-part video where we just snuck in some extra pieces. So it's going to be a 7-part video now. So we made it a bit longer. So hopefully that's good news. I just want to get the detail down on this section here, timing a C-section. So previously we talked about how the date of natural whelp is dictated by the day the dog ovulates and has got nothing directly to do with the day that we AI'd. The day that we AI alters the litter size, but there's nothing to do with the day the puppies are going to be actually going to want to pop out and say hello to the world. That date is written in stone and it's based on ovulation. And if you AI late, the puppies show up late and you get caught in the middle of the night. Or worse yet, if you AI early, you do the C-section early, and you're not inside the 2-day safety window, and you have a huge problem. So we talked with the last part of the last video, I said, how are we going to actually get this timing right? That's what we're going to talk about now, because this is super important. Okay, so there are a number of things that let you know that a dog can have a successful, safe C-section. And those are based on the dog's behavior, the dog's internal temperature, and its dog's progesterone level. So we're going to go over these things in the order that they happen. So the first thing is that typically the day that the dog is gonna whelp, it will stop eating. No food, stop eating. Now, appetite may be fairly crappy leading up to this. It's quite common that they're not eating food, well, their appetite's not very good, and part of this is because they're so full of puppies, they don't have any room to put any food in there, and they're just eating small amounts of food, and they don't really feel, hunky-dory. So, but this day, typically no food at all. So what do? You take a bowl of the food that they like, and by the way, you may need to be changing their diet back in here. I like to have a fatter dog if I can get it going into whelp. I don't want a skinny-looking dog that's going to have 7 puppies trying to get milk out of her because it's going to make it really rough on her body. I'd rather that she was a little bit fat going into this. So we've switched to a higher calorie protein puppy food about a week prior to try and see if we can get her to bulk up a little bit. All right. So we are getting close to the day that we're expecting to do a C-section. I will put a bowl of a very small amount of food out there. And I want to see whether she's interested in eating that food. And the thing about this is I can come back an hour later and I can see whether she's eaten that food up. If she's eaten that food up, I'll give her a normal portion and let her have at it. But if I come back an hour or two later, she's not touched any of that food, guess what? That's an indicator that we're having puppies within 24 hours. That is a good starting point. 24 hours from now, it's highly likely that we are going to see puppies. Problem with this one is doesn't always happen. Sometimes you've got a girl that just has been so finicky, she's hardly eating any food anyway. Not a very good indicator. Or sometimes you've got dogs that just chow down the entire time. But the majority of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, stop eating 24 hours out prior to the natural whelp. All right. Second one is you need to be taking their temperature daily. Take their temperature, and that means using a digital cheapo Walmart thermometer, and it needs to go in their butt, just drop the felt pen, it needs to go in their butt at least that far. Don't be shy here, folks. If you come back and talk to me and I ask what the temperature is, and you say, oh, it's been like 98, 97.5 for the last 5 days, you ain't getting the thermometer in far enough, because you need to be seeing temperatures that start out around 100 or more. That's what you're going to see when you're 4 or 5 days out. And that temperature is slowly going to drop. 99.7, 99.5. And you'll see this temperature, it might bounce around and go up and down, but you will finally get to the point where you're 98.9 or less. 98.9 or less typically means puppies within 24 hours. So take temperature if it's less than 99. So that counts as 98. And by the way, if you start taking the temperature, say, oh, the temperature's 99, that's not what I want. I want 99 point something. I don't want to know the temperature's 99. I want to know it's 99.6, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for these decimal places. A dog, the temperature has finally dropped down to 98.9. We're having puppies again within 24 hours typically. Again, not written in stone. You don't always see this. This is always part of the problem with this, is that sometimes you have a dog that won't show you the classic temperature drop. But if you see a temperature drop below 98.9 and it's just not eating food, it's a darn good chance you're having puppies within 24 hours. Okay. What's the next thing you see? The dog starts nesting. She's making a nest to have her babies. So what we do is, and by the way, what you should be investing in is our whelping system that is patented and I think is the absolute best way that you can possibly have puppies. You can find it on My Breeder Supply. But we go ahead and put some newspaper down inside the crate. That's not there for her to have her babies in. That's here as an audible indicator that something's going on. Because if you put newspapers in a crate, and she's just roughing it all over the place. Number one is you can be in the kitchen and the dog's down the utility room and you can hear this papers just being sliced and diced. You can go to the restaurant, come back and eat and find that your nice papers that you've laid up, that she's moved around a little bit, it's been sliced up to little pieces. She's nesting. 12 hours, approximately. Not guaranteed, might be less, might be more, but if you see heavy nesting, and you very rarely don't see this. I mean, it may be, 5% of the time they don't nest, 95% of the time they nest. This is a really good indicator that you're probably in the right place. Okay, number 4. Heavy panting. Heavy panting. And it goes on and on and on. It's like, God, this dog's burning up. The dog's panting and it's panting. It might take a rest for a little bit and then it starts back up again. 6 hours or less. 6 hours or less from having puppies. That's a really good sign. 6 hours or less from having puppies. Shivering, by the way, this might also be associated with shivering too. So shivering is, and the reason they're shivering is because their temp's gone down. So shivering is, you quite often see a dog that is, it's shivering and it's panting, and that's a really good sign that you are really right on track. So if you see all these things all falling out one after another, man, you're on a good day here because you know what's going on. It's time to, well, hopefully, by the way, hopefully you've already got a vet on board that knows that you're fixing to have a C-section and that you're getting close and that you're, a day or less out from wanting to have this done so that they're on board. Okay, number 5. This is the gold standard. A progesterone level of less than 2.5. Progesterone, probably spelled wrong. Of less than 2.5 nanograms per milliliter. That one there, that is the safest thing that you can possibly do. If you're in doubt about what's going on, and the vet has the ability to do a progesterone spot test right there in his office and get you results the same day, go spend the money. That one there, that's 100% guaranteed. You're not going to go wrong. I say 100%. Don't come back on me if I'm wrong on this and something bad happens I don't know about. But I have never, ever seen a dog that we did a C-section at 2.5 or less that didn't have good-looking puppies when they came out. They were not hairless. They weren't slick-faced. That was a great start. If you can get that one done, get it done. So what do? Guess what? You go to My Breeder Supply and buy one of our progesterone machines. That's what you do. They're not cheap, $27.95, but you lose a single puppy or you lose a litter, you'd wish you had a progesterone machine. And if you're going to be serious about this, if you're going to do this the right way, go get a progesterone machine. It'll help you get this end right, you'll have bigger litters, and it will sure as hell stop you from screwing up on this end here. And I promise you, if you do enough of this and you don't have a progesterone machine or have the ability to do it, you will have some heartaches and some tears and some lost puppies. It will happen. There is no escaping it. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've only had a progesterone machine. Out here in Western Oklahoma, nobody's got a progesterone machine. Well, I became a dealer for the one that I started using a year ago and thought it was so fantastic. I now sell the thing, and I mean, it's wonderful. But before I had that machine, I had to go off these things here, and occasionally I would still get caught out. Occasionally I'd get things wrong, and it would always be on puppies that I'd AI'd early, and I was waiting, it was 5 and 6 days later, it's like, when are these puppies coming out? And the vet would be saying, James, you've got to take these puppies out, it's not good for them being in there this long. They were fine in there. The problem is I freaking screwed up and AI'd early. And I needed to wait. And the last one I had before I got a progesterone machine, I had 4 puppies. They were born, we elected to do the C-section 5 days later. And because she dilated some, and I lost 2 of the 4 puppies, and they were born with sleek faces, and it was horrible. So that was the point that I decided, look, this is stupid. I need a progesterone machine. Well, that was about a year ago, and I have not had a single problem for myself or anybody else who's associated with me who can come and visit me for a progesterone test. So that is the gold standard. That's the one right there. But look, this happens, this works for most people. Here's what doesn't work. The vet does the AI and he says, Susan, come in on the 25th and we're having puppies. It's like, okay, doc, but I don't friggin' believe that. I'm going to go off what James has told me. Listen to this, get this right, and don't just listen to the vet. If the vet wants to schedule a due date based on AI, he needs to say, hey, it's going to be approximately this time, and we're going to look at it closer as the time comes. That's what the vet needs to be saying. And here's the worst one that happens. The vet says, yeah, well, we're going off to Aruba. Saturday would be the right day to do this, but we're leaving for Aruba Friday afternoon. So why don't you come in Friday morning and take the puppies? No, maybe it might be okay. But I have a plan B. I have another vet who could be there Saturday or Sunday when the right time to take the puppies. Because if the puppy should have been born Sunday and you did it Friday morning, you got a good chance you're in a caught with her. You're not going to be happy. Not going to be happy. Okay, so that is. Let's just talk about a few. Well, the next one's going to be on the whelp itself, and so this is pertinent to everybody because some people are going to get caught with their pants down, and generally the actual things that you see happen in the dog, there's going to be this part C, the natural whelp, and what you're going to see as you get closer to the whelp. Okay, so see how long we've got on this video so far. Oh, that's plenty long enough. Okay, so look, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to us. Go to My Breeder Supply, wonderful products, especially if you're having puppies. This thing here can save you thousands of dollars, not just in saving puppies, but maybe you might travel an hour away and save yourself a C-section fee that might have cost you $3,000, might become $1,000. For us personally, a C-section goes down to $225 if I travel to Texas with this guy right here. Portable, puppies come home inside it, it's wonderful. Hey, thanks for watching.